Good morning, Scott. How you doing, Red Dog?
I'm doing great. Listen, sorry I'm a little late. Had a lot of things going on here. A few technical difficulties on the computer, but better late than never.
Better late than never, absolutely. And you know what? That's fine. I see your technical difficulties, and I raise you our own. We had that happen a couple of weeks ago with Christian, and he was a gentleman, so no problem at all. Scott, look, I want to start here with one question that was kind of generated from our after hours happy hour session. You've done such a great job with us recently, kind of going over your morning routine.
You had a happy hour without me? When did you do that?
Well, we have a happy hour every day, and I will say here publicly, you are invited to any one of those that you wish to come to. So, no doubt, and we do enjoy some whiskey during that happy hour in some cases. But in any case, we actually had a member recently kind of ask about the entire prop trading scene. One of the things that she was saying is that she had some. Took a loss that maybe she didn't want to, and she really kind of wants to refine some of her risk rules in a prop trading environment. And our group here spoke very highly of you and T3. So I just kind of wanted to ask you here, and it's okay if you don't have the stats. I know I'm kind of ambushing you with this question here. Can you share any stats for your best traders in your group, and how long does it take to maybe pass like the challenge phase?
To be honest, I don't have like stats.
No problem. Anecdotal.
All I would say is that it takes time to be consistent. And when you put on a trade, just figure out, where the trade changes and if you're wrong, and then honor it by putting a stop there. The more you honor your stops, the more, you listen to your inner voice when, the trade doesn't do what you think it's going to do, the less you'll lose. And the less you lose, on your bad trades, the less you have to make up on your good trades. So bottom line is like, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. I treat my prop world like a little portfolio manager. I have an active account that I day trade. I have a swing account that I try and stay with moves with a tier system. I have option account that I want to use for binary events. I have a box that makes my my winners bigger, my losers more. And, I have that brain capacity to deal with it. But if you have only been trading, not only because you got to start somewhere, right? If you've been trading for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, 12 months, you figure out, and be realistic with yourself, what's a good day for you. If $300 is a good day, you shouldn't be losing $600 on a bad day. It's like the 2-to-1 kind of thing. If you want to stat, I would say mostly your good days should be 2-to-1 over your bad days, and your exceptional days should be 4-to-1. And, sometimes if you look at all your numbers, if you were to get rid of your 2 worst days, you see what your year's like, and I'm sure it'll seem like it's a lot better. So try and get rid of the worst days by following the process with the right stops and the right trades.
Okay, so it really seems like it's kind of the same, right? It's really going to focus on your process. You really have to focus on your risk management, and just doing that in the prop environment is the same. Okay, so that's really, really good stuff. Hopefully she found that helpful. Let's actually talk about some stocks that you're trading here. I do want to start with the SPY. I always do. I can't help it. Let's start here with the SPY. What do you have any type of trade setup going into the FOMC meeting tomorrow? Do you have an open trade here on SPY? What are your thoughts on the broader market here?
On the SPYs? Well, right now we're below yesterday's low. So if you want to look at my chart, it looks a little cleaner than your chart, to be honest.
Sure.
Okay. No disrespect.
Not at all.
But I'm a simple guy, simple cotton napkin technician. I try and show it straight up. At this point, coming into the Fed, it looked like everything was normal, like a nice little channel, digesting like the 8-day catch up, the 21-day. We've been above it for like multiple weeks, so really strong. So today, if you go here, this is a little bit noisy. The SPYs are down 236. So let me get all this junk out of the way. So the way I'm thinking is, first of all, I'm short a little premium going into today. So that was kind of like my hedge because I do have a lot of longs on. So right now the SPYs are down 234. So you can see that on my level 2. I have a bunch of level 2s on one screen because I have ADHD and I'm an old school tape reader. So I like to watch the level 2s as I'm trading. So here is 604.38. So right now we're below yesterday's low. We're below 605.21. So you have a whole quadrant here. So you have no idea where the 15-minute low is going to be, except for that you have 602.80, which is right here, and you have 602. So sometimes I'm like, can't get too bearish if we hold above here. So the question is, do we make a 5-15-minute low and reclaim 605.21 and keep things intact and make the dip buyable very easy? Or do they want to shake things up a little bit ahead of the Fed tomorrow? Because usually the day before the Fed, for some reason, is always a negative sentiment type day, because I feel like it's kind of disrespectful if they go cajones to the wall the day before the Fed and think that they're going to ask for a quarter rate cut and for them not to be too hawkish. So it's always weird. It's always like you always have like this day before, and then you always forget. I'm like, oh wait, I should have known that. I should have had more of a hedge on. But at this point, I'm going to turn to some of the mega cap tech and see if I could buy a few things, because I do have some positions on. So like I have Tesla on, which is helping. Tesla's been my number one focus. I'm going back on Fox Business today, actually at 3:00 to talk about it, because right on election day, I'm like, word is that Trump's going to win in a landslide. You want to be long Bitcoin, you want to be long Tesla, and get rid of DJT. And that's exactly what happened. And now, you go to Tesla.
I was going to say, that's my next question anyway. So let's just do it. Let's go to Tesla. Let's run it.
All right. So if you look at Tesla, it's been absolutely fantastic. So many different ways. First was your huge beeline to 358. Then I had to consolidate. This was the last real money setup, I thought, where you were digesting above 348, and then you were able to add above 362. And then since then, it's been above the 8-day, which is a huge, strong trend. And now you're up here, and look where the 8th is. If you're not in Tesla, today is not your day to buy it. I'm trimming some. I actually am trying to be cute. I sold some 5-10 calls for Friday to collect some premium, and I don't mind being short there if that's the case. It was my first time doing that yesterday. But anyway, Tesla's been unbelievable. At this point, there's no clear setup. You go to the weekly chart, and a week ago, I'm like, hey guys, if we get above 378, this 384 to 414 is going to be a magnet, and we're already through that magnet. So it got above here. This was your void, and it seems like every time we come up with a target, the target's getting reached faster. That's how much demand there is. But we are extended, and typically, you can't just enter something because you feel like you missed it. Chances are over time, like the other individual said about losses and consistency, this you just can't enter it today. Doesn't mean you need to short it. So for me, I am trimming into this move. I might even be flat the stock for the first time pretty much since pre-election, but I might even just take a little because I want to stay engaged. Sometimes if you hold a little bit and you're going to lose in the little bit you hold, it at least keeps you engaged in the name, so you're watching it. And I've been very engaged with this name. It's been very, very awesome for the Alpha team right here. Like you could see, the Alpha team gets to see all my trades live. They can see that this is what I'm coming in with today, even with the Fed tomorrow. And it shows like how I sold some Tesla. So it shows I trimmed a little bit this morning into strength. Like I said before, I'm short some calls for the 5-10s. So it could be a covered call strategy where I took in 2 3/4. I might even short a higher strike today. So I'm managing this position as best as I can, trying to take as much money out. But it's very easy to lose your cool when you think about how many shares you had a few weeks ago and how much everyone says they're making, which they're probably not, because everyone's so rich on Instagram and Twitter that nobody needs to trade anymore. So, but now's the time where it's like, all right, the meat and potatoes are out of this move. Now the question is, we need some price discovery. Will we get a short-term top today, or will we get another day like today where it's probably developing into a little pain trade where those who got out earlier are in pain because like, oh, I could have made so much more, and those who started shorting a little earlier are like, wow, what do I do next?
I've done it before. Can I get my shares back, please? Folks, real quickly here, download Scott's free ebook to see his #1 spot to buy and get his free indicator that alerts you. Link is in the chat, QR code on the screen. Love what you said there about Tesla. It reminds me of an old adage. You should be, when you're crying, you should be buying, and when you're yelling, you should be selling. Not a day to buy here today. You should be trimming that position. Really good stuff there, Scott. I got another question about another stock that I'm pretty sure you're still working. Can you tell me a little bit about Celsius, ticker CELH? Here, one of the things that our group, again, in the happy hour, those drinking traders that we talked about, mentioned that this seemed like a really good tax loss buy as it really got smoked here this year. What do you think, CELH?
It was a former leader that technically broke. And now everyone's looking for a reason that if they get out of the way, it could be a good opportunity, which I do think it is. I started buying options on it for January 17th. So if you look at the chart here, all right, first of all, it's a lot to learn, but you look back at the chart, like how blaring is this thing? Double top, red dog reversal, sell, pushes through, fails, loses the 8-day. Right there, this for any trader that got caught in this thing, you got to look back and say, this is the spot that you should have been at. If you didn't do the red dog reversal sell, right here, broke the upper level, broke the 8-day, and when you're below the 8-day, you do not sit in something as a swing trade. So now, fast forward, that was May 28th, double top. Like, it's funny, you look back at patterns, like, how come I didn't see that? So you want to see that and you want to learn from that. So now, fast forward to here, okay, it's still not acting great. Last time people were talking about it was October and it failed. Now maybe since we're November 17th and perhaps you took some losses already, maybe you don't want to, it's washed out. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe this is washed out. I'm not sure, so that's why I'm buying options. I bought the $35 calls and the $40 calls because I think if we do get some kind of January effect where people are like, hey, well, I sold this thing at 90, I can play it from 30 to 45. It's like a trash for treasures trade. So someone else's trash, if they broke all their rules, could be someone else's treasure for the January effect. So I did buy some calls, and I'm going to try it. So this is a few of my other January effect names that I put in here. I have BlackBerry that worked. Working, Lucid Opens another one, Tilray's another one, Oxy and Val. So these are all my January effect trades where I'm like, these are all broken names that I didn't get caught in, that maybe people are done selling into the end of the year and there'll be some bottom feeders coming in because, there's no more tax loss selling and it's an opportunity for those who approach it fresh.
Okay, so the other question I was going to ask you is about stocks that you're preparing for 2025. Looks like you already have some there. Any others you want to throw on that list? Let me ask you again, are there any drone stocks you like? Because that's what we've been seeing. Hopefully you're doing okay there on the East Coast with those things off New Jersey.
Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely weird. I saw a few in my backyard too, and it's like, that's a little weird. I'm trying not to over-focus on it. It's like people are getting so caught up. These drones are not going to change your life. It's not like someone coming down from space. But there was some names like different. Like I bought this UMAC, the other day. Someone pointed out from my virtual trading floor, I think this is a drone stock. I saw it day one was part of my process, and I got paid pretty well in it yesterday. Now see if that's 1160 holds. This Archer, I think, is supposed to be another drone stock that had a big move, came into the 21-day. So if you hold the 8 and 21-day, it's usually buyable. So I'm long a little bit of that. So I'm in some of these. These aren't January effect names. These are just like, the flavor of the week because it's in theme. Vogue and you want to make sure you're in them. Don't get irresponsible and take trades and stay with them and don't short them just because you think it's going to be a fad sector and then go away, which they usually do, but do it when it tells you. So, there's some action here in these drone stocks. There's other ones too. Again, like people sometimes like Red Dog, how does your go-to list stock or sector change or stocks in that go-to list change? Names like this come about. Like this ASTS is supposed to be some kind of space-ish type, trade. But look, it hasn't done anything in so long. It's got a nice channel here. Maybe you go out and you buy some $30 calls for January, February. That looks decent in this sector. I also, I bought this yesterday, this Lunar. Okay, you know why?
Another
because
space stock.
Yeah, so I'm in a bunch of these, and I'm in Tesla, and I'm bought a little bit of a dip in Apple, and I'm trading Amazon options. So again, 30 plus years, I could be in a portfolio management type approach when the market's working. And then if all of a sudden we break the 8 and 21-day in the S&P and things start to falter, I'll reduce a lot of my risk, and then I'll just day trade more.
Okay, real awesome stuff there. Yeah, that Archer, that's one that we've been watching too. That's in that eVTOL space that has some Cathie Wood exposure to it. So some other stuff going on there with ticker ACHR. All right, Scott, awesome stuff here today. Again, folks, download Scott's free ebook. See his #1 spot to buy. Get his free indicator. The QR code is on the screen. The link is in the chat. Scott, you got any closing words for us here this week ahead of the Fed?
Just tomorrow is always Fed days, kind of are sugar honey iced tea for me. It's very erratic. They try and fool you. They try and stop you out this way. They try and fade you out that way. Mm-hmm. Just know what you're committed to and know what you can handle. It's December 17th. I know for me, I hit my high water mark yesterday, the highs of the year. I think a lot of guys have done that. You want to tax them on. You don't want to put yourself in jeopardy, when you're looking to get a check. I trade for a living also. I just do it quarterly, not monthly like most people. And the Fed, they kind of, when you're going and when the S&P's up 28 and 29% going into the Fed asking for a quarter rate cut and trying to have a neutral to dovish, which will probably be hawkish tomorrow, you just want to be careful. Don't put yourself in a position to get a leg sweep. right? We hate leg sweeps.
you got that right. Really, really good advice here, Scott. If I don't see you, Merry Christmas to you and your family, and Happy Holidays. Thanks for everything. Take care, my man.
You too, Ryan. Thanks for having me.